Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Coup Athletics podcast. I'm Jaden. I'm joined by Anthony and Mauloa. Today we'll be talking with Mauloa again. Before we were talking about his pre-draft process, and he was lucky enough last week to participate in the pro day at SDSU. So we'll just be asking him a couple questions, and we're curious how that went. So my first question is: you wake up last Friday on your pro day. What was going through your head? And, what were you kind of most nervous for?
Honestly, I'll say, the night before, I was just kind of, thinking about, all the, bigger name people, in front of me. I'm thinking there's going to be at least about, 20 guys in my position. But after looking at the list, it was a small select handful. It wasn't only players from SDSU. There's players from Northern State, and then you have one player from Dakota State, which I don't know how far it is from out Sioux Falls, but it was a very small select handful. The night before, I wasn't I was nervous. I was just more so anxious. I was more so I just wanted to go out there. I'm just tired of waiting. So I literally had set my alarm at 4:45. I woke up 45 minutes early. And I was just kind of sitting there praying. I was just man, let's just get after it. Ain't nothing else to be said. Mm-hmm. But, walking in there, it was a very great environment. It was super cold, by the way. It was freezing cold. Only left the house with probably, trail mix and a banana with some Pedialyte, making sure I don't eat a super heavy breakfast where I don't be at the bathroom 24/7. But, no, it was a great environment over there.
Do you think it was more mentality than physical? You just had to get your mental right to get out there and perform?
Honestly, it was more so a mental thing. I would say. It was just the call I had with my dad the night before. He was just this always stuck out with me growing up ever since I first started playing football. He just told me just go out there, make it your own, and just perform at your very best and stuff like that, and just have fun at the end of the day. Because it's very nerve-wracking because the sport that you love is becoming a job interview now, which most sports are starting to become everybody's profession. So I look at it as another job interview, but I was just ready to get after it.
Yeah. So can you kind of walk us through your day at the pro day, the drills you went through, the interviews you had with different teams, and how you feel that went?
So when I got there, the coach from SDSU told us that the training room was open at 6:30. So that's why before we said we woke up at 4:45 and left the house at least around 5:30. I'll say get there around 6:30. We got to the field. It was, I ain't gonna lie, it was cold.
It was inside though.
It was an indoor facility, but it was super cold. I promise you, I was warming up with the jacket and stuff like that. The room was the facility was very nice, very big. Just kind of getting the feel of the field and stuff like that. Tuned into my music that I'm listening to, before the big day happens. And then once when I'd say around 7:15, 7:30 came around, we went into this meeting room where the scouts from the Green Bay Packers were up there. So first thing we did was we got our hand size and our wingspan checked. They went down, the list from players from SDSU, Northern, Sioux Falls, and then obviously the kid from Dakota State. He happened to got invited last minute. We'll get to that later. But they kind of messed up my name. That was the only thing that was pretty messed up. I mean, my name is pretty, easy. It's not one of those long, Hawaiian names. So don't want to make everybody's life, miserable saying my first name, but. It was a great experience. And then after that, we went straight to the weight room. We got our height and weight checked. They had me at 5'9.5", 181 pounds. I was okay with my weight, but not satisfied with my height. Because every place I've been to, they always listed me as 6 foot. I would say probably from the start of my senior year of high school till, my very last, season at USF. And then, it was just, I don't know, once when I saw, the first dude did bench because that's what we did first because we're all in the weight room. We're just warming up and stuff. A couple people opted out due to injuries or, they had a pro day they already, performed at, the day before, a couple days before. After I seen, like, the first dude, like, it was an offensive lineman. He repped out 225 pounds on bench press. I was just kind of like, okay, I see where this is going. But at the same time, I was just kind of like, I don't know if my shoulder is going to handle so many reps, underneath that bar because I did have a grade 2 AC sprain on my left shoulder this past season. I played with that injury at least for about 8 to 10 games, I would say. So it was a very, rough start, when I first started training for this whole pro day thing that I had going on for myself. Got underneath the bar. I seen all the other corners went in my position. They didn't have the most reps, but I had the highest in the room by far. I mean,
nice.
Which I was satisfied about, but I wasn't satisfied that I didn't get to the PR that I actually wanted to, get. But I was just like a hair close to reaching that. Then they took us to the vert jump, and then broad. After broad, everyone was getting ready for the 40. Now, there's some things I would say, but I can't really say on the podcast. Like, not everybody knew their exact time, so that's why, like, people had families and stuff like that with stopwatches either on their phone or, like, an actual stopwatch to, get, like, true times. But, the scouts are going to go off of the numbers that they have on their notebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's more of an unofficial time.
Yeah, more of an unofficial time. And, like, when everybody was running a 40, even when I ran it, you didn't hear none of the scouts at the table say nothing. They just stopped their stopwatch, got what they got, and just wrote it down.
So you don't even know.
I don't even know.
No reaction.
The only thing
I was going to ask you what you got.
Yeah, the only thing you know for yourself is your bench, your broad, and your vert. Those are like the only three things you would know.
Estimate your risk.
Everyone wants to know the 40.
Yeah, it was.
That's the big one because I mean we did talk about that before. You running I think it was a 4.3, right?
Yeah, it was.
I was really hoping you came back and you're like, bro, I broke 4.3.
Yeah.
Maybe you did. We just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. We haven't got the official times yet. I did hear. I mean, they were kind of like shortchanging everybody. Even some of the fastest dudes from SDSU. They had a receiver that came from Nebraska. He came from what's another school? New Mexico State, and then he was at a junior college back in 2019, I believe. He went to a school called Saddleback College. I actually happened to play against that school when I was at Mount Sac at a community college for my first 2 years, and he actually had I think he had the fastest 40 along with, I would say, the running back from Washington State, Angel Johnson. I don't know if that name rings a bell.
It does.
It does. I was going to say, I think
But yeah, shout out to him. He probably had like the fastest 40 throughout the whole pro day. Yeah, walking in, everybody was just, respectful, wishing everybody best of luck. It wasn't like no hard feelings like, oh, I'm going to outwork you. I don't care what position I played. No, it's never that. I mean, everybody's walking in with the same mindset and the same goal. So
grind it out.
Yeah, just grinding out. But
Dude.
yeah, it was kind of, concerning because, like, everybody wants to know their times, but it's just like you find out after. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, honestly, when you said that they didn't give you any reactions, I think that would have just made my anxiousness spike.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I would have just been sitting there like, oh, what did I run?
Yeah.
But, I mean, how did you feel about your 40? Did you feel fast?
I felt like I was moving pretty solid. Mm-hmm. As, like, I got done running my first attempt, my trainer was standing right next to like the bleachers where all the scouts were recording the times. Shout out to him, Freeman Performance, South Dakota. If you have any, family members, cousins that are, just athletes, it don't matter what sport you play, football, track, basketball, if you just want to work on, speed and strength, get in touch with him. That's his page on Instagram. It's freeman.performance.sd. He's probably, one of the greatest trainers I ran into ever since I came back to Sioux Falls this semester. Definitely, invest your time on getting working with him. But yeah, so they announced like a weird time, and everyone was like, nah, that's not right. So then, like, I kind of like go over and text him. I said, stand by the table again and time me, because I was just like pretty concerning. I can't say too much because, like I said, we don't know what's the official times.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
So, I mean, we get through the 40. We got through every single drill. Like, I think the last two were pro agility, which is like the 5, 10, 5. And then you got the 3-cone L drill, where it's just kind of like you touching, 5 yards there, 5 yards back, do like the little figure 8, and you finish through. That one went pretty solid until, after that, we kind of like took like a 15-minute break, and along with like another 10 minutes, because that's when we got to the position workout. So it was based off of position. They went by offensive line, went by quarterbacks, receivers, running backs. There was no quarterbacks at the pro day, but we had some quarterbacks from SDSU throwing to us every single skill position, like Chase Mason. I couldn't remember the other dude's name, but he was also throwing to. I think he was probably like a sophomore or junior at SDSU. And it was kind of like offensive players went first, defensive players went, second. And obviously you had the specialist that went last. There was like one long snapper and a kicker. And, we got to the position workout. I was just like, before like I even like got started on the first drill, like I told my trainer, I was like, look, like throughout this like past like 3 months, like I told him, I said, don't even worry about position work because, my trainer, he used to be a running back here. And then he went to Southern Utah. But I told him, I was like, position work, you don't got to worry about it. Like, it's going to be good. And, the first couple of drills we did, I think it was like the first time I went up, kind of slipped, but still able to recover, didn't drop a ball at all. And then, as we were moving, throughout the last couple of drills and stuff like that, my trainer, Landon, he just kind of like asked who were like the best 2 corners you think that had a great performance in the workout. They said this other corner, his name is Aiden Dotterman. Shout out to him. He's a very cool dude. I have a lot of respect for him. He's just like me. Getting after for the same dreams and aspirations. And then they said, oh, this kid with the black shorts, because I had black shorts on, and my USF logo was kind of like fading away. So so hearing that feedback, kind of brought a little spark and, made me realize, I was kind of like satisfied with, what I did. There are some things I weren't satisfied about, but I mean, it's all right. At least like at the end of the day, I did say I get to talk to NFL teams and stuff like that. So the teams that I talked to, obviously everyone saw on Instagram. I spoke with the Vikings. That Viking scout definitely liked the way how I was just moving throughout the whole position workout. And then the scout from the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's a very old school dude. He used to play corner back in his day, but he just kind of like asked me to like, sink my hips a little bit lower so I can, be more explosive out of my breaks depending on, or just not dependent, but based on like the drills that we did throughout that whole workout. But talking to the Vikings with the scout, then I forgot to mention the Packers as well too, just creating small talk with them. I think one of you guys is Packers.
I'm a Vikings.
Oh, you're
Jets.
You're a
Jets
Jets fan. You're a Vikings fan. So, spoke with your team. Mm-hmm. I went to go thank the coach who invited me to the pro day, and then as I was like done with that, the Viking scout ran up to me, was just kind of like asking me like what were my best 2 games from my junior year. I just told him when I played against Minnesota State Mankato and Concordia St. Paul up in St. Paul, Minnesota. They were just asking me like, because obviously there's a dude up there from Mankato who was like a top D2 NFL draft prospect, Trey Watson. I don't know if the name rings a bell. He was just kind of like asking me, oh, you guarded him for your these past 2 years. I was just like, yeah, he was a great receiver. We was just really getting after it, but he didn't really catch a ball on me for the past 2 years. No deep ball, no touchdowns, no nothing. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, he's going to have to respect that at the end of the day. I mean, he can only get open in space when it's in zone coverage, but overall, I shut him down for the past 2 years. And we were just kind of like already clicking like right off the bat because the scout from the Vikings, he's actually from back home. He's from Long Beach, so Long Beach is not that, far away from me. I mean, for me it is because, traffic in California do get pretty bad.
Be crazy.
Yeah, and gas prices is going up.
$6.
Yeah, $6 a gallon. Yeah, I gotta go back to that in about 30 days.
Good luck.
But yeah, so like once when I heard like, oh, he's from Long Beach, I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely connecting right away. And yeah, he just told me like, yeah, well, I thought you had a great performance today. We'll take a look at those 2 games you told me and kind of like go from there. So like my highest possibilities on teams who would consider me, I would say, is between the Vikings or the Jags. Like I don't at this rate, like right now, I really do not care what team I get selected by. It's just whatever team I'm on is whatever team I'm on, and it's like when I get there, I gotta do whatever it takes to hold my spot and stay on like the roster and stuff like that. I don't want to just be there for a mini camp and then next thing you know I get sent back home. Yeah, because that can happen, but it's just like I gotta make the most out of my opportunities and make sure I'm not taking no days for granted, because the more you take days for granted, the slim your chances are gonna be with being a part of a team. So like overall, like it was a very emotional weekend for me. I know a lot of people were from USF and back home were kind of like asking me how I did, but I wanted to make sure to get out to my family first.
Right.
My mom, dad, my brother, and my aunt. Want to make sure I spilled the news to them. Also, my high school coach, Coach Ben Carbo, he's been my biggest support system from my junior year. Make sure I got out to him first, and then I'm still working on reaching out to a lot of other people from USF. So if I didn't respond to your text, I promise you I will get back to your text. Don't feel like I'm being Hollywood. No, that is never the case. I have family that need to hear this news. I still got to reach out to my grandma, matter of fact.
There you go.
Better call grandma.
I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn with the Vikings, but they do love those hometown kids. I mean, Adam Thielen, C.J. Ham from Augustana. I mean, they give you a real chance out there.
Yeah. Shout out to C.J. Ham. He just retired this past season. I know he went to school across the street, but, I mean, still, from, like, Sioux Falls, area. I don't know where he's from, but...
He's from South Dakota. I don't know if he's from
Dakota?
Sioux Falls, but I think he's from around the area.
He's from around the area. Well, he's definitely put in South Dakota on the map, going up to play for the Vikings and stuff like that. That's pretty big. I would say shout out to Trey Pipkins, former USF player. He's with the Chargers right now, signed a $12 million contract deal. Hopefully one day I could play ball back home with him.
I don't know if it's on the Jags or not, but I know we got an old USF guy in the NFL right now.
Oh, for real?
Yes. He's like an outside linebacker. But I can't remember what his name is for like the love of me.
What year did he graduated?
It's old. He's old. He's been in like probably 4 or 5 years now.
4 or 5 years in the league?
Yeah.
We'll have to look it up.
We'll have to look it up.
Probably graduated like 2020, 21 or something like that.
Maybe probably around there.
Yeah, probably around that time. That was around
Maybe
the time
older.
when
I don't know.
That was probably the time when my trainer was a running back there, Landon Freeman. He was a running back from, well, first he was at SMSU for a little bit, and then I think he went to USF around like 2020 and was there from 2020 to 2022. Then he went to Southern Utah to finish out his last year. I'm trying to think. I'm about to say you might want to look that up.
I'm just going to look it up for the...
Yeah, so while he's looking that up, just briefly as we kind of wrap things up, so what are your next steps going forward? Like, what's next for you?
So, like, what's next for me? Obviously, after, the very outstanding performance I had, doesn't mean I could take days off. So I'm going to still, stick with the same blueprint, still keep working out with my trainers during my time out here. And then when I get back home, just taking care of my family, just obviously first, waiting for the phone call, and then still just getting more work in back home, because I do have a lot of, coaches and trainers that, I will be looking forward to get sessions in with back home once when I finish up this last semester.
Cool. Did you find
we're super. Before I say that, I'm super proud of you, man. Like, amazing work. But yeah, we do have Trey Pipkins and then Dennis Gardeck.
Oh yeah, Dennis Gardeck.
Dennis Gardeck, 2019.
2019.
So he's right around where we were thinking, anyways.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. And so for those that don't know, the draft is April 23rd to April 25th. So if you want to keep updated on the news, go ahead and do that. I just want to thank both of you for being on the podcast and great answers. It was great to hear about the pro day.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me here. Answering your guys' questions. Feel honored and blessed to discuss this with you guys and stuff like that. This is details that I wouldn't really just be giving out to everybody, but you guys are some of the first people from USF to hear. So
yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that we were the first group you could just spill a little to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.